Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon dear students. So here we start the another drama, another play that is named as An Enemy of the People. So here we'll see the introduction first and then we'll come to the explanation part. Okay. So now as you can see it's written by Henrik Ibsen. See the introduction here. Henrik John Ibsen, 20 March 1828 to 23 May 1906, was a Norwegian playwright, theatre director, and poet. As one of the founders of modernism in theatre, Ibsen is often referred to as the father of realism and one of the most influential playwrights of his time. So basically, he was born on 20th March, okay, and he died on 23rd May, that was in the year of 1906. And he was basically a Norwegian playwright, okay, and he was the theatre director, poet at the same time, and he was the founder of modern realism, okay. And he also referred as the he was very influential basically as a playwright. He was very influential, and in 1869 he began to write prose plays. Some critics would say that at this point in his life, Ibsen became a series of 5 plays in which he examines the moral faults of modern society in order of appearance. The plays were the pillars of society: A Doll's House, Ghost, An Enemy of the People, and The Wild Duck. So now here what he is saying, he usually used to examine the morals of the society and all these things, the moral faults which was there in society that time. He used to focus on those points, and here are some of the examples which is mentioned as A Doll's House, Ghost, and Enemy of the People, which we are going to read basically, and The Wild Duck. These are the examples of that. Like all the Ibsen's plays, An Enemy of People was originally written in Norwegian and is full of untranslatable wordplay. Specifically, a number of characters' titles exist only in Norwegian bureaucracy. Now, here what he says about, it was originally written in Norwegian. Okay, that's what he mentions here. The holder of the truth, the man who can see the essence of the situation, is bound to be unpopular, even if the masses catch up with his ideas in due course. That is why Stockman finally sums up the oft quoted line: the strongest man in the world is he who stands alone. So basically, now here the person or the whole play, the drama revolves around the person who is Stockman, okay, who is doctor. So basically, he is the one who holds the truth and who stands by the truth, and whatever the situation is, he didn't care about it, and he was just standing with the truth. And most oftenly mentioned line in the drama is, the strongest man in the world is he who stands alone. That's what the line which is very important and mentioned oftenly in the play. That means the strongest man in this world is the one who stands alone. That means if you are right, what he is indirectly trying to say throughout the drama, if you are right, you don't need to be afraid of anything, you don't need to lose hope, you don't need to change your path. If you are right, you need to stand firm, and that's what he believes, and that's what he stated at the same time. Now, theme: An Enemy of the People, a realistic play by Ibsen, boldly tackles the municipal politics of a Norwegian town and exposes the hypocrisy and cowardice of the progressive and Democrats. Like all the plays in this series, moral conflict is a significant element. So now, An Enemy of the People, basically it is a realistic play, okay, which boldly tackles the municipal politics, okay, and he exposes the hypocrisy of the Democrats over there. Like all the plays in the series, moral conflict is a significant element. So as we discussed previously in this series, this is also moral conflict one, which is based on that theme. It deals with the extent to which individual desires and beliefs are compromised by society. Okay, now in particular, the play focuses on the ways in which an individual can be ostracized by the society he is trying to help. The problems of the play's hero, Dr. Stockman, are not far removed from the problems that Ibsen experienced after the publication of Ghost. In a letter written around the time of the play's composition, Ibsen noted, Dr. Stockman and I got excellently together. We agree on so many subjects. So basically somewhere, he feels the that he can relate with the Dr. Stockman the way he felt after writing a letter. Now which kind of a letter it is, we'll see when we start with the play. So what he says, he also felt somewhere, or like, he can relate with the character, with the main character. Dr. Stockman, the central character of the play, eventually wins his point, even though by that time he is ahead of the masses. Now what he says here, the Stockman, who is the central character, the main character, he eventually wins his point, and like, he felt like he's ahead of the masses. You will find this play still relevant to our times as Ibsen attacks the social evils of his time, notably the status of women and the squeamishness of the 19th century about the open discussion of moral problems. So now, even when this poetry was written, many years ago, but even in this time, you can relate with the story, or you can relate with the issues that he mentioned, the social levels that he mentioned, because in every ages, like, you will see some of the other social levels are there in society, right? So that's what he says here, that you will find it relevant with your time also when you read it. Now the plot. So the protagonist of the play, Dr. Stockman, a medical officer of the municipal baths, suspects that the bath water is contaminated. He is proven right after a clinical test. So basically, he is the main character, as we previously discussed, Dr. Stockman, and he's a medical officer basically for the municipal baths. So basically, there were baths, okay, which was there for public, like, the people used to pay and used to take bath over there, like, which was a good source of income for the government basically. And so what he suspected, what he felt like, that the water is contaminated, means it's not healthy for the people to take bath in through that water. That might be, some show some ill effect on the people. So that's what he felt, which is not clean or clear kind of thing that he felt. He is proven right after clinical test. So then he also took the clinical test of the water, and what had been proven, that yes, he was right and the water was contaminated. Therefore, he wants to publish an article and expose the corruption. However, Peter Stockman, his brother, and the mayor of the town and the chairman of the bath committee warns him of terrible consequences for him and his family if he publishes the article. So basically what happened when he came to know about this contaminated water, and when clinically it got proven, so what he thought that that he should publish that as an article in the newspaper, and he should expose the corruption of the the people, whatever is going on. So when he was thinking of that, so the Peter Stockman is the brother of Dr. Stockman. Okay, so he is the brother basically, and at the same time he is the mayor of the town. Okay, and the chairman of the bath committee, who that is Peter Stockman. Okay, and so that all these people, the chairman of the bath and the his own brother, who is the mayor of the city, so he all of them warned him, and what they warned him, that that you will have to face the terrible consequences for it, whatever you are going to do if you publish the article. And even they warned his family at the same time. Hosted, the editor of the People's Messenger, and Alaskan, the printer, are hand in glove with Peter and decided not to publish the article. Now Hosted, who is the editor of People's Messenger, that is a newspaper, a local newspaper, and Aslakson, who is the printer basically, are hand in glove with Peter and decided not to publish the article. And then they got in plan with later with mayor, and they got agreed with mayor, and they basically came with him. And what they decided not to print the article. His home is pelted. Yeah, so Dr. Stockman decides to hold a town meeting, which turns disastrous, in which town people shout he is an enemy of the people. His home is pelted with stones, windows are smashed, he becomes the target of people's eye. Now, basically, he decided to hold a town meeting, basically to disclose all these things. But later, the consequences was disastrous, and what he had to face, the people shouted on him, and his house was pelted with stones, the windows were smashed, and he basically became the target of people. His contract as medical officer is terminated. So basically he also have been terminated from his post, and his daughter Petra is removed from her job as a teacher. His landlord wants to evict him and his family from their home. So basically, even his daughter had to face the consequences, and she had been removed from her job as a teacher. And later, even the house in which they were there, the landlord basically he also wanted to evict them from their house, to him and to his family. But he stands firm in the face of difficulties and ignores Peter's advice to leave the town for a few months. And what Peter basically advised him, that you should leave a town for a few months. That's what he advised. But Dr. Stockman didn't follow his advice and all these things. Instead, he stood firm. His wife is afraid that people might drive him out of the town, but Dr. Stockman replies that he intends to stay and make the people understand that considerations of expediency turn morality and justice upside down. What is convenient is not always morally right. He ends by proclaiming, the strongest man in the world is he who stands alone. So now, even his wife was afraid that what if the people or the crowd drive him out of the town. So what he said to his wife, basically, it's not necessary that all the people with should be there with you, or everyone should agree with you. Sometimes you have to stand alone, and you have to make the difference. And it's all about the understanding and consideration. It's not necessary that whatever the right thing will only accepted by the people. No, sometimes the people find the things which is more convenient to them. That's what they stand by. So but here it's the different kind of thing. So I am standing with the truth, so I won't leave my side, and I will be firm on it. And that's what he said. And what he said at the end, the strongest man in the world is the one who stands alone, as he is standing alone right now. That's what he mentioned, he specified here. So the synopsis of the extract, basically, Dr. Stockman has discovered that the new baths built in his town are infected with a deadly disease, and instructs the town to repair or close the baths. The mayor, who is Dr. Stockman's brother, does not believe in the reports, and refuses to close the baths because it will cause the financial ruin of the town. So basically, Dr. Stockman, as we discussed previously also, he discovered, as we also discussed later, previously, discovered that the bath water was contaminated with the deadly disease, and instructed to repair and close the baths for a while. So the mayor, who is his own brother, he did not believe the reports and refused them, and because he was afraid of the financial ruin of the town, and if the baths will be closed, so he was afraid that there will be no income and all. Dr. Stockman tries to take his case to the people, but the mayor intercedes and explains to the people how much it will cost to repair the baths. He explains that the doctor is always filled with wild and fanciful ideas. In a public meeting, he has his brother declared enemy of the people. The doctor decides to leave the town, but at the last minute comes to the realization that he must stay and fight for the thing he believes to be right. Now, here the Stockman basically, he tried to convince the people, but in between, who came? his own brother, mayor, that is Peter Stockman. And he explained to the people, while he was explaining to the people, while the doctor was explaining to the people that there are the things what's happening and all these things. So he interrupted in between, and he said, he said the other he shown the other side only to the people. And what he said, that how much amount it will take to repair the baths, and that this doctor is always filled with the wild ideas. And what else he said, he basically declared his own brother, that is Dr. Stockman, as an enemy of the people. So for a while, doctors thought, or decided to leave the town, but later, just within a minute, he realized that no, even if I am alone, but if I am right, so I should stand firmly, and I should not be leaving the place, because I am not doing anything wrong. So why should I leave the town? So he decided not to leave and to stay over there only. Now the dramatis persona. Dr. Thomas Stockman, medical officer of the municipal baths, about whom we discussed a lot previously. Mrs. Stockman, basically his wife, and Petra, who is his daughter, of the Dr. Stockman's daughter. And then Edgeliff and Morton, they are his sons, who are aged 13 and 10. Okay. Peter Stockman, the doctor's elder brother, and mayor of the town, and chief constable, chairman of the baths committee, etc. Then there is a Morton Kill, Tanner, basically Mrs. Stockman's adoptive father. Hosted, he is the editor of the People's Messenger. People's Messenger, as I told you previously, it's a newspaper. Billing, who is a sub-editor. Captain Horster, Alaxon, who is a printer. Men of various conditions and occupations, a few women, and a troop of schoolboys, the audience at a public meeting. So these are the other minor things, or the side things, like the people who are there involved somewhere or the other in the play. So now the action takes place in a coastal town in southern Norway. Scene: the editorial office of the People's Messenger. The entrance door is on the left hand side of the back wall. On the right hand side is another door with glass panels through which the printing room can be seen. So basically there is a scene of an editorial office, basically the newspaper editorial office, where there is one entrance at the left hand side, then there is another which is at the right hand side, and then the door was with the panels of glass, which was showing towards a printing room, basically, which was clearly visible due to the panels of glasses. Another door in the right hand wall. In the middle of the room is a large table covered with papers, newspapers and books. So basically in the center there was a large table which was completely covered with the papers, newspapers and books. In the foreground on the left, a window before which stands a desk and a high stool. There are a couple of easy chairs, but uncomfortable. The furniture is old, the chairs stained and torn. In the printing room, the compositors are seen at work, and a printer is working a hand press. Hosted is sitting at the desk writing. Billing comes in from the right with Dr. Stockman's manuscript in his hand. So these are the things. Okay, now Billing. Well, I must say, Hosted, still writing. Have you read it through? Now basically here is as we discussed, it's a printing room. Okay, so they are having the manuscript of the Dr. Stockman, the article which we discussed in the beginning, that he wanted the article to be printed in the newspaper. So that's what he came with, the manuscript in the newspaper editorial office, and they are discussing about that article what he came with. So now Hosted is asking to Billing that have you read it through? So what Billing said, laying the mess on the desk, yes, indeed I have. So what he said, yes, I have. Don't you think the doctor hits them pretty hard? So Hosted, what he asked, don't you think he's hitting them too hard? Hard? Bless my soul, he's crushing. Every word falls like, how shall I put it, like the blow of a sledgehammer. So what he said, hard? Do you think it's hard? And what he said, bless my soul, it's like he's crushing them. I feel like that it's not just a hard, hitting hard or something. It's like crushing them, because every word falls like, I'm feeling like how to put it, and it's like a sledgehammer blow. Yes, but they are not the people to throw up the sponge at the first blow. That is true, and for that reason, we must strike blow upon blow until the whole of this aristocracy tumbles to pieces. As I sat in there reading this, I almost seemed to see a revolution in me. As they read the article, they are, pretty much sure that the whole scenario, the thing that he has written, it's completely going to bring kind of a revolution. It's going to start. That's what they felt like. Turning round, Hush speaks so that Alaxon cannot hear. So what he said, the hostage, basically he was asking Billing to be quiet or to talk slowly, because the Alaxon should not hear that. Billing, lowering his voice, Alaxon is a chicken-hearted chap, a coward. There is nothing of the men in him. But this time you will insist on your own way, won't you? You will put the doctor's article in. Now basically chicken-hearted means someone who is not brave enough, or who is coward kind of. So that's what they said about the Alaxon. And now Hosted, what he said. So even the Billing asking that don't won't you put it as an article in the newspaper, or what do you think about it? Yes, and if the mayor doesn't like it. So Hosted said yes, but he's also thinking, what if the mayor doesn't like it? That will be the devil of nuisance. So that's what the Billing said. If he doesn't like, then it will be the devil of nuisance. Well, fortunately, we can turn the situation to good account, whatever happens. If the mayor will not fall in with the doctor's project, he will have all the small tradesmen down on him, the whole of the householders association and the rest of them. And if it does fall in with it, he will fall out with the whole crowd of large shareholders in the baths, who up to now have been his most valuable supporters. Now what they are discussing, basically, if he comes in favor of the doctor's project, whatever the doctor is talking about, if he comes in favor of that, so there will be the small tradesmen who will be standing with him. But if he goes against that, and if he do something else opposite to that, then he will lose the then he will, if he is in favor, so then who will be there with them? The small tradesmen. But who will go against them? The large shareholders of the baths. So basically, who are the most valuable supporters for them? Yes, because they will certainly have to fork out a pretty penny. Yes, you may be sure they will, and in this way the ring will be broken up, you see, and then in every issue of the paper we will enlighten the public on the mayor's incapability on the one point and another, and make it clear that all the positions of trust in the town, the whole control of municipal affairs, ought to be put in the hands of the liberals. So they are talking about the consequences which is going to happen and all these things. That is perfectly true. I see it coming. We are on the threshold of a revolution. So what he said, yeah, I can see that coming, and we are on the way of revolution. A knock is heard at the door. So now someone knocked on the door. Hosted. Hush, call out. Come in. Dr. Stockman comes in by the straight door. Hosted goes to meet him. Oh, it's you. Doctor, well. So now basically he went to open the door, and he saw there was a Dr. Stockman, and he said, oh, doctor, it's you. You may set to work and print it, Mr. Hosted. So Dr. Stockman, what he said, yeah, you may set to work, and and you need to get the printing done. Hosted, has it come to that then? Hooray. Yes, print away, undoubtedly, it has come to that. Now they must take what they get. There is going to be a fight in the town, Mr. Billing. Now he's asking, is it supposed to be done? Is it went that much far? So he said, yes, it is, and you are supposed to print it, and there is going to be the fight in the town. Who said? Dr. Stockman. War to the knife, I hope. We will get our knives to their throats, doctor. Now what he said, it's like a it's like a war to the knife, and we should have the knife in our hands and on their throats. Dr. Stockman, this article is only a beginning. I have already got 4 or 5 more sketched out in my head. Where is Exlaxin? So basically, what he said, it is just one article. It is a beginning. I have more, 4 or 5 articles ready in my head. And where is Elaxin? That's what he asked. Calls into the printing room. Elaxin, just come here for a minute. So Billing called him and hosted. 4 or 5 more articles, did you say? On the same subject? So the hosted asked, like, you have more articles, like 4 or 5, and is it on the same topic? 4 or 5 more. And then what he said, no, far from it, my dear fellow. No, they are about quite another matter, but they all spring from the question of the water supply and the drainage. One thing leads to another, It is like beginning to pull down on an old house. Exactly. So what he said, it's not exactly the same topic, but yes, one article leads to the another one. That's what simply he said. Upon my soul, it's true. You find you are not done till you have pulled out all the old rubbish down. So now what he says, yes, you should not you should not be done until you are done with the pulling down all the rubbish things down. Coming in, pulled down. You are not thinking of pulling down the baths, surely, doctor? So basically, that Laxon, when he came, so he asked that, are you surely not talking about pulling down the baths? So what he said, coming then far from it, don't be afraid. So Hosted, what he said, it's far from it, don't be afraid. Now we meant something quite different. Well, what do you think of my article, Mr. Hosted? So he asked Mr. Hosted that, what do you think of my article? I think it is simply a masterpiece. Do you really think so? Well, I am very pleased, very pleased. So he was expressing his emotions. It is so clear and intelligible, one need have no special knowledge to understand the bearing of it. You will have every enlightened man on your side. So basically the hosted was telling him, there is no doubt that everyone will be on your side only, so you don't need to worry at all. Now Elaxin. And every prudent man too, I hope. So prudent is basically the one who is clever or the one who is practical. So that's what. So that's what he said. I think every prudent man will be on your side. So Billing said, the prudent and the imprudent, almost the whole town. So what he said, no, it's not just about the prudent, it's also about the imprudent. Everyone or the whole town will be on your side, doctor. In that case, we may venture to print it. I should think so. We will put it tomorrow morning. Of course, you must not lose a single day. What I wanted to ask you, Mr. Laxon, was if you would supervise the printing of it yourself. So they were discussing about that it will be printed tomorrow morning, or it will be put up in the newspaper tomorrow morning. So Dr. Stockman, there should not be a delay even of a single day. And then he asked Mr. Relaxon that, will you supervise it on your own? With pleasure. That's what he said. Take care of it as if it were a treasure. No misprints. Every word is important. I will look in again a little later. Perhaps you will be able to let me see a proof. I can't tell you how eager I am to see it in print and see it burst upon the public. So what he said, take care of this manuscript and treat it like it's a treasure. Because and there should be no misprints. Every single word in it is important, and I will look into it again later. And I can't wait to see this in print and to burst upon the public. Burst upon them, yes, like a flash of lightning. So that's what Billing said, and to have it submitted to the judgment of my intelligent fellow townmen. You cannot imagine what I have gone through today. I have been threatened first with one thing and then with another. They have tried to rob me of my most elementary rights as a man. So basically, he is explaining, like, Dr. Stockman is telling to Hosted and Billing and all, that you can't understand and you can't imagine that what I have been through today, because I have been threatened the whole day. They tried to rob me and all these things. What? Your rights as a man. They have tried to degrade me, to make a coward of me, to force me to put personal interest before my most sacred convictions. So basically, what he said, they were trying to degrade me and they tried to make me coward. That's what the thing. That is too much. I am damned if it isn't. If it isn't. Oh, you must not be surprised at anything from the quarter. Well, they will get the worst of it with me. They may assure themselves of that. I shall consider the people's messenger, my sheet another now, and every single day I will bombard them with one article after another like bombshells. So now basically what he said, like, they will be worst only with me, and they will make it sure that I don't be in a peaceful way or peaceful life, and but I should consider myself as a people's messenger. And what he said, every single day I should bombard them with a new article. Then what S. Laxon said, yes, but Billing, hurrah, it is war, it is war. Dr. Stockman, I shall smite them to the ground, I shall crush them, I shall break down all the defenses before the eyes of the honest public. That is what I shall do. Now Dr. Stockman is what he's saying, like, I shall crush them, I shall break down whatever the defenses that comes ahead, because that's what I feel like should be done, because the public are honest, but they should also know about what's the thing that's going on. Yes, but in moderation. Doctor, proceed with moderation. So what Laxon said, yes, but you should proceed with moderation. Not a bit of it, not a bit of it. Don't spare the dynamite. So Billing, what he said, no, not a bit of it. So it seems like sparing a dynamite, because it is not merely a question of water supply and rains now. No, it is the whole of our social life what we have got to purify and disinfect. So basically what the doctor said, it's not just about the water supply. It's not just the question of that. But it's also about, the whole social life that we have got. We need to purify it. We need to disinfect it. Spoken like a deliverer. So Billing, what he said, you spoke like, you are a deliverer. All the incapables must be turned out. You understand? And that is that in every walk of life, endless vistas have opened themselves to my mind's eye today. I cannot see it all quite clearly yet, but I shall in time. Young and vigorous standard bearers, those are what we need and must seek, my friends. We must have new men in command at all the outposts. So basically they are discussing the scenario, and what he said, it's about the minds and the eye today, that I cannot see clearly what will happen in future, but yeah, I can imagine a bit, but I can't see a clear view that what will happen in future. Now Billing, what he said, here, we only need to stand by one another and it will all be perfectly easy. The revolution will be launched like a ship that runs smoothly off the stocks. Don't you think so? Now Dr. Stockman, what he said, it's just that we need to stand by each other. That's it. And the thing will go smoothly. For my part, I think we have now a prospect of getting the municipal authority into the hands where it should lie. So now what Hosted said, yeah, I think now we are on a right way and we should get the municipal authority into the hands where it should lie. And if only we proceed with moderation, I cannot imagine that there will be any risk. So what Laxon said, if we move with the moderation, I don't think there is any risk in that. Dr. Stockman, who the devil cares about there is any risk or not? What I am doing in the name of the truth and for the sake of my conscience. So what he said, who the devil cares that is it risky or not? It's just that I am with the truth, and that's what I know, and that is I am doing for my own conscience. You are a man who deserves to be supported, doctor. So after hearing that, what the hostage had to say, what he said basically, you know what, you are a man who need to be supported. Yes, there is no denying that the doctor is a true friend to the town, a real friend to the community that he is. Take my word for it, Alaxon. Dr. Stockman is a friend of the people. So, Billing, what he said, yes, take these words that that Dr. Stockman is a friend of the people. I fancy the Householders Association will make use of that expression before long. Dr. Stockman, affected, grasped their hands. Thank you, my dear staunch friends. It is very refreshing to me to hear you say that. My brother called me something quite different. By Jove, he shall have it back with interest. But now I must be off to see a poor devil. I will come back, as I said. Keep a very careful eye on the manuscript, Alaxon. And don't for worlds leave out any of my notes of exclamation. Rather put one or two more in capital. Well, goodbye for the present. Goodbye. They show him to the door and bow him out. And then what he said, basically, he thanked them when they called him the friend of the people. So he said, like, I'm very pleased to hear that, because my own brother called me something different or something opposite. And then what he said, do not leave this manuscript even for a while. Please take care of it very carefully. And what he said, nothing should be go here and there. Everything should be at its place properly. And what he said goodbye for the present. He may prove an invaluably useful man to us. That's what Hosted said. Yes, so long as he confines himself to this matter of the baths. But if he goes further afield, I don't think it would be advisable to follow him. So what Alaston had to say, that in a long way, to go with them, it's fine. But if he go further, then I don't think it is advisable to follow him later. Hosted, that all depends. So what he said, it all depends. Yeah, you are so infernally timid, Alaxon. So what he said, you seem like to be, very timid. Timid? Yes. When it is a question of the local authorities, I am timid, Mr. Billing. It is a lesson I have learned in the school of the experience. Let me tell you, but try me in higher politics, in matters that concern the government itself, and then see if I am timid. Now what Alaxon had to say, that when it comes to the local people, it's not a timid. That's a lesson that I have learned in the school of experience. No, you aren't, I admit, but it's simply contradicting yourself. So what he said, no, it's not timid, but yes, it's contradicting yourself. I am a man with a conscience, and that's the whole matter. If you attack the government, you don't do community any harm. Anyway, those fellows pay no attention to attacks. You see, they go on just as they are, in spite of them. But local authorities are different. They can be turned out, and then perhaps you may get an ignorant lot into office who may do irreparable harm to the householders and everybody else. So now what he said, when it is a attack to the government, it doesn't matter, and they doesn't even pay attention to that. But when you attack the local authorities, they might do anything that you can't even expect. But what of the education of citizens by self-government? Don't you attach any importance to that? When a man has interest of his own to protect, he cannot think of everything, Mr. Hosted. That's what he said. Then I hope I shall never have interest of my own to protect. Billing, here, with a smile. Points to the desk. Mr. Sheriff Stengskard was your predecessor at the editorial desk.